Hey, everybody. This is Rob Walden. Welcome back to Fireside 42, episode 3. Tony, how are you today? How was your weekend?
Man, it was pretty good. How about yourself? It was Father's Day.
It was. Did you have a good Father's Day weekend?
I had a great Father's Day.
Mine was lazy. That's what I want to do. I was joking outside. It's like when it's Mother's Day, Mama wants to do something, right? She wants to go to brunch. She wants to have a day of it. When it comes to Father's Day, I just want to leave me alone. I don't even want to put clothes on. Just let me have a day.
I had a good one myself too. I really did. It was very relaxed. It was just a great day, a great Sunday. So
all right. Well, we're back to work. When you're listening to this, it's going to be Tuesday, which means you'll be almost done with your week. Is there anything you can tell us about what's going on right now with bargaining? Is there anything that we need to know?
There's absolutely stuff going on. It's been ongoing. It hasn't ended yet. There's still recently language that we have looked over and we have got tentative agreements on. So yeah, we keep going, we keep pushing, and we keep talking to the company. We certainly aren't there yet, and the company knows that, and the company knows what we're still demanding. So that's what both sides are working on. So what are we talking about this Tuesday?
So yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because that's why we're here. We're talking health and safety. It was a long conversation. We could probably do 2 or 3 episodes on all this stuff, but health and safety, there was a lot there.
There's a lot there. You've seen all the demands and everything that was agreed upon that's going to be in our agreement. It was definitely a lot to talk about, but those things need to be done over a couple or 3, like you said, episodes. So I think this one is a really good beginning. It gets you an understanding of what our vision is for health and safety as far as a company and union working together on health and safety in our plants, and just the opportunity that gives all of us.
Yeah, I learned a lot. It was really interesting. So we talked with we had the whole subcommittee here with us. We had Drew Hall, we had Caleb Mahalski.
Yep.
And you were here, Tony Antonius Bodevis.
That is my name.
I love that.
Thank you.
And then also in the room with us was Josh. He's around a lot. He gives us direction and reminds me to ask questions that I don't know to ask. But he was there too.
Yes.
In spirit, if nothing else. So with that being said, I've talked enough. Let's listen to the episode.
Let's go.
All right, health and safety. Let's talk health and safety, guys. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, tell me about health and safety. What's going on?
Usually health and safety is one of the subcommittees that is the last to close out, and we closed out in January. We ended up having close to 40 demands. Some of them we developed throughout the course of bargaining, and we were able to get those demands met.
So you said something to me in one of our earlier conversations about tracking injuries.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
The way that things are in current state, if you have an injury...
I'm sorry.
I know.
Just the way things are right now is they come down and they ask you if you fell off the monkey bars where you were in the 3rd grade, and that's probably why you're in pain.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely garbage. And all of that's done through the medical department. And then you have progressive health, which works with medical, but it's still kind of separate. What we've got now is like everything's going to be all fully integrated. So now we're going to be like health and safety committee is going to be working with the medical department as well as workman comps cases. Anytime someone puts an X in their HYP, that's also going to be going to the health and safety committee. And so if we're doing an audit and we're walking through, I can be able to say, hey, I've got a safety concern in this area, and I'm seeing a lot of X's coming from this area. And based off of the ergonomic chart, something's not adding up. This math ain't mathin'.
I'm wondering just how many people don't click on that right now because it's so meaningless. If that's something that we're going to have to re-educate people on, it's like...
Oh, absolutely. I think we're going to have to re-educate everything because this is a whole new world. Mm-hmm. A world where you have rights, you have representation, and you don't just have to take shit.
Tony?
Yeah. What I think the key point is that Caleb mentioned earlier is also just the jointness of the programs and us having accessibility to all the data. Is that something we never had? And now we can actually back up the issues with data, and we didn't have that before.
We don't have
and being able to do that now, you can show everybody where are the issues and what should we be fixing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of data you may actually get from the incident reporting, with the employee having the empowerment now to be able to report near misses, report incidents, allows them to have a voice, and for the company as well as for the local union to take a real good look at the issues that are going on the floor and try to resolve those things. It's less finger pointing and more resolutions in place of that. And follow processes, because there's a lot of processes in lean manufacturing. Volkswagen does a lot of those things, but we don't have access to that, and we don't get to do those because management does those things.
Yes.
And so all you are left to do is fight those. And instead now you're working together on these issues and coming to a good resolution. I think it's really key to that.
So I got to go back to, it's a concern of mine, but you talked about this committee being part us and part company.
Yeah.
So are they going to be, are our guys going to be full partners in this committee? Like, are they going to have, I worry that they're not going to necessarily have any power to affect change. The company's going to override them and be like, nah, we got cars, get out the door. We're not going to deal with this today. Are our guys, I mean, is that part of what's in the contract? Is it our guys are full partners in this, and if they got a problem, we're going to stop and fix it?
Yeah, there is authority there. And if we have issues that we can't get resolved, then our guys from the international staff will come down.
So we're bringing some real muscle in.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not just
absolutely.
Okay,
and so as things stand in current state, Health and Safety Committee can only give recommendations to management, but it's up to management to actually comply. Whereas now, like we've got things from every single level down. So something that we did, we wanted to use some of the bones of the current structure, but really beef it up to where it actually means something. So like I was a safety guide. And anyone who's been a safety guide knows that your hands are, for the most part, pretty tied.
Right.
And I did take it seriously. Whereas, like, I'd actually go through every single area of my zone and ask people, like, hey, what are issues that you're having and stuff like that. And if it was cheap enough to fix, it would usually get fixed within a day or two. But if it was something that was of a certain cost, then I was like, oh, well, it's not in budget.
When you have a health and safety issue and it's related to a process on the line, you will get assistance from the language that we have one in other subcommittees, like production standards, continuous improvement as well, because that's also a lot related to process improvement and training and all those things.
Yeah,
just for employees, even if it wasn't addressed without that, for them to be able to report the fact that, hey, wherever this walkway is, all of a sudden it stops and there's no way for me to cross. And all those tiny little things that everybody just kind of ignores because nothing is being done about it.
All right, it just becomes normal.
Will have to be addressed.
Yeah.
That and with the near misses, they don't get in trouble when they report them. And for when they change the processes, that it's not just going to be somebody off first shift. It has to be a group. As far as health and safety, ergonomics, the company, the processes, it's going to be a whole group instead of one person going, hey, let's go ahead and speed up the line and see what we do. They can't do that anymore. Yeah. It has to be changed as a group.
How is new technology going to play into all this?
As far as the language for new technology, it's very enabling language. So basically, if like things come in, we have the ability to look at it. It's going to be a joint process, and that's really kind of the theme of all of our language is jointness in everything. And so, like in every single step, every single process, and then we have the ability to modify and revise any health and safety regulation, both existing and future.
So I assume, and this is a lot, I would imagine we're going to have to train our guys.
Oh, 100%.
So are they going to get some real training? I'm not talking about professional level, industrial strength training, or is this going to be an hour-long course?
No. So actually, we're actually going to have what's called T3, Train the Trainers. And so they're going to be people who are trained to a level with experts. And that's another thing that the UAW working with Volkswagen, making sure that different like training retreats and training courses and stuff like that they can help use their ability to use like government grant funding to be able to get some of these different certifications in place and whatnot. And so people will actually be able to get proper training and then have those people on every shift in every shop, because we're done with the pencil whipping, plain and simple.
I've had enough of that myself.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Let's see. There's so much to pull from here.
Oh, I know. There's so much. And the thing is, like, so I guess like the precursor I should have led with is that at Volkswagen, there's like this semblance of safety. There's like a facade.
Superficial safety.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. When you look at the regulations in of themselves sound pretty good. But then when we started digging into it, we realized that, okay, this is the regulation, but you have no direct influence on how it's actually executed on the floor. Mm-hmm. There's a complete disconnect. And it's just entirely up to who your AM is and who your supervisors under that AM is. And so we can be working in the same shop in the same area, but just a different shift and have a completely different experience. They just want to build the shit and get it going.
Yeah. Well, and then you got, on night shift, half of Volkswagen personnel go home. Like I would imagine they're probably vastly understaffed when it comes to safety people and all of that stuff. And that will be addressed.
Yes. Yes. So now we're going to have, at least on the union side, we're going to have a safety rep on every single shift.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of having 3 salary guys who are here from like 8 to 5 or whatever,
right,
you're going to have someone on first and second shift. And to split up, like body shop, since they're running 3 shifts, we'll probably end up having to do like 2 long shifts or something like that. But if assembly shop goes back to 3 shifts, then we'll get another health and safety rep for that too.
Let's talk a little bit about mental health.
Yes. The mental health piece that we put in is actually kind of groundbreaking. I don't think any place in the big 3 currently has that. Since our EAP is currently through Headspace, bringing people from Headspace to come down and do workshops about different things like that.
What is Headspace?
Headspace is the company that our employee access program is currently through, but that could change. So like we don't have anything labeled by name, but all of our language is very enabling language. If this is the situation, this is the regardless of who the provider is, this is what we're going to achieve out of that. Let's be honest. This job is extremely stressful if you have a family.
Yeah.
We're here all the damn time. All of our energy, all of our physical and mental energy is poured here. So when we do get to go home, half the time we're just trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Because we're just trying to get ready for the next week to get our ass kicked again.
Right. Yeah.
And we want to be able to create a culture that understands mental health better and understands how to help people, but also how to point people in the right direction. So we're going to have a union EAP rep as well. And so we can be able to help as health and safety people. If we see certain things, we can help be able to provide an avenue of being able to get the help they need and just create a culture where it's like, there's no shame in this.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone deals with shit. And just because you're muscling through doesn't mean that you're okay.
We're going to have guys, gals, people,
yes,
in place that support us.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the company. They don't care about the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's sort of my grievance with our medical people, and nothing against them personally, but
right. I mean, they're just doing what they're told,
right? And preventive health or progressive health or whatever they call themselves, and then HR. They're not people here for us,
right?
They're here to protect the company, whatever that means. Now, if protecting the company also happens to align with helping us, they're more than happy to do that. But if there's ever a conflict, we lose,
right?
So it's important that our people understand that these reps that we're creating, they don't care about getting another car out the door. They make sure that you're fine.
Yes.
That's what they want to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And to the point that you just mentioned, I've actually had people from medical and progressive health, in AGVs, we kept getting hurt all the time and that health and safety is actually the reason why I became involved in the union. Because, we're lifting batteries that are 200 pounds. We're lifting or flipping over machines that weigh anywhere from 600 to 900 pounds. And so, flipping over an AGV is how I pulled a muscle in my back. Thankfully, I recovered pretty quickly. But I had 2 guys who tore their rotator cuffs in the first year. One guy was out for months.
And they didn't do anything to change the system. They didn't.
No. And that was the point where
they just put another meat bag in its spot.
Yeah. And when they couldn't get another Volkswagen person in, they get a contractor in from who works in TPM or CIP or something like that. And it's all right, hey, there's a part of your contract that says that you have the ability to support logistics. Now you're running an entire AGV zone. And that's not right. And but yeah, that was the point where I finally realized, like, at what point will health and safety actually be in budget? Like, so now we have the authority. We'll have people in place that can actually look at directors in the face, and also, and because like if it goes up, I mean, now we're talking about like the union chairperson, union president, and also the international staff if we need them and stuff like that. It's like, no, like, you need to get this shit fixed, otherwise we're gonna rain hell on you.
We got some pretty hefty muscle on our side now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I work in body shop, and I know everybody's got some PPE concerns, but I'm dressed head to toe in them. Let's talk a little bit about PPE.
Okay.
What kind of stuff have you got for?
All right. So with PPE, obviously, a lot of the PPE that we get right now is already paid for. We basically memorialize that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that any PPE that is being worn is based off of a task-based risk assessment. And so, like, does the risk assessment justify this kind of PPE that you're using, and also does it justify additional PPE? You know, because especially when it comes to things like sound damage, and the way that it affects our hearing long term, especially if you work in places like body shop and stuff like that. So, like, as far as like getting a commitment from the company on those kinds of things, we've got that in place.
And we also did eyeglasses.
Yes, yeah.
Got more frames.
Yeah.
For eyeglasses.
Yeah. So there'll be 25 options at or below the $65 stipend.
And if you just want a pair and don't have a prescription, that you can go there and have just plain clear lenses put into them. So you don't have to have the cheap plastic safety glasses. Yes.
You can get a decent pair of. That's good to know.
With just clear lenses.
Good deal.
I'm not going to lie. There's times like we had to fight tooth and nail sometimes for every single word of every single line in every single document reflecting every single demand.
That seems so silly to me that they would be so obstinate about some of this stuff. I mean, because it comes to me, it's like you talk about jointness, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to have now is a partnership.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be the company dictating to us.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's the inverse is also not true. It's not going to be the union dictating to the company.
Correct.
It's going to be company guys, and it's going to be union guys. I hate using that term because it sort of suggests the like other. Right. But it's Volkswagen
our
employees.
Representatives.
Yeah, it's
our
It's Volkswagen people who are also union guys.
Yes. Yes.
Who are working together with the company.
Yep.
In a partnership to solve problems together.
Yeah.
And you also, as an employee, have access to your union reps.
Right.
Yes.
But I mean, it gives us buy-in into the process.
Yes.
100%. So when we go to enforce that process, it makes more sense. Tony?
Shame on the company for not creating a safety culture without a union in place. It's absolutely insane to even imagine that they didn't care enough that without a union, they would just have a program in place, but not actually have a safety culture in place that would benefit our people here.
Yeah.
The people that make their bread and butter, people that make billions of dollars for this company.
Yeah.
Shame on them for doing that. I came from a company where we had an incredibly high level of safety. It was safety 365. It was employee driven. The company knew better. The company knew that the people actually doing their damn jobs know exactly what's wrong in their pitches, in their areas, in the company, whatever it is. They see this day to day. They're the ones that are going to be driving safety a lot within this plant. We have the representation, obviously, to enforce all of this, but we have employees that are going to drive safety in a plant that should have done this for them, but they did not.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, well said.
And
well said.
That was very well said. And it made me think of something. We'd create language, and instead of them like striking out like a couple words or something like that and then give a response back, they would just strike everything out. And that was true for every subcommittee. And then we look at it as like, this isn't how this works first, but second, it's like, what exactly did you have an issue with? So we'd go, sometimes we'd literally have to sit down and go like sentence by sentence. And it's like, okay, do you have an issue with any of that? Oh, actually, no. And it's like, okay, what about this? Well, actually, I didn't like this particular word. well, let's talk about that. And we do. And it's like, okay, what if we used this word? That would work with me. Okay, well, let's use that one then. And we had to do that like line by line.
Well, that kind of goes back to something, Tony, you said in one of our earlier conversations, our first conversation, talking about how, I believe it was you, was talking about how the company was writing language that served the company.
Yes.
And you guys are trying to write language that served both the company
parties,
and the employee. And you had to hold their hand and explain to them, this is going to benefit you.
Absolutely.
Right? You're going to have user buy-in. The people are going to be a part of the process. It's going to be a lot easier a pill to swallow.
Right.
Right? If stuff's working the way it's supposed to because they helped craft it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of the language that they initially passed back to us was basically, we're going to keep doing what we're doing and we'll allow you guys to be present for it. And we're like, no, that's not acceptable. And so not only Tony and Drew and I, but also incredible support from the international staff, I was like, no, this is unacceptable for these reasons. And here's why on the shop floor, this doesn't work, and why we need to have this measure in place and this measure in place, and why there has to be checks and balances in all these different stages, and that there has to be accountability.
I'm glad that those guys were here. Clearly, the more I talk to you guys, the more I realize these guys are not bringing in chumps. These are experts in the field.
Oh, my God. To touch on that.
Yes,
so,
touch on it.
Yes. Sorry. So I guess one of the things I want to state just really quick. On the shop floor, we're usually told that OSHA is this lofty standard that just gets in the way of us doing our job. I've heard that from supervisors and AMs countless times. The truth of the matter is OSHA is the bare minimum legal requirement of safety, and it's usually based on 1960 science. And what we call consensus standards, or industry best practice standards, are done by other organizations like NIOSH, NIH, ANSI, and whatnot. These guys helped write that language for ANSI. Helped, Dr. Darius sits on OSHA's board. Part of the reason how they know so much about these issues is because they were the ones who fought for it to go up to that level of committee and help make it part of their safety standards. And so some of the consensus standards that not only that we'll be able to start having here at Volkswagen, because we have in the contract that we're going to be regularly reviewing any new consensus standard that comes out, and if it's applicable to what we do in the plant, then we're going to start using it. And also in other things, especially with like fall hazard, working alone, confined spaces, electrical safety, lockout, tagout, we actually have those different consensus standards identified that this is what they're going to hold themselves to. These guys that helped us bargain that to be in our contract helped create.
They wrote the book.
They helped write the book.
So as it stands right now, I think this is shop-wide. So in my shop, we have a safety person, a team member.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell, her primary responsibility once a year is to make sure that my name is still on my lock. So I assume that we're going to, are we still going to have team member safety people?
Yes.
And are they going to be better trained?
Guides. Yes,
that's the safety guide.
Yes, the safety guides. The safety guides
with true training.
With true training. They're going to be concerned with more than just the name on my lock.
True training.
That's
correct. Yeah. So so the Health and Safety Committee is going to develop a core curriculum for every single level, and at the safety guide level, we're making sure that everyone's trained up to a certain point and has knowledge on different things. And so say like we have like severe weather and that comes in, and knowing where you're supposed to go and stuff like that, we're gonna have like live simulations, like live exercises of that for every shop in real time, so that we can be able to see like, oh, well, we said that the safe place if a tornado comes through is his bathroom, but the bathroom, because we are so lean on everything, can only really fit about 10 people. And so the other 60 people are just screwed. So maybe we need to come up with a different solution for that. And so like the HSC is going to be part of all of that too, both the tabletop exercises as well as the actual drills. Like, so for instance, a few months ago when we had a fire drill, the turnstiles were still locked.
Yeah. They're supposed to unlock during a fire drill.
Yeah.
You got to badge out to escape.
Yes. Okay. But we brought it to their attention. It was a case where we were able to see some of this stuff happen in real time. So like we were negotiating, and then the fire drill went out, which was after we called them out. And I was like, how often do you do fire drills and stuff like that? And then it was like a week later we had a fire drill.
I've done one, maybe two.
Right. But but still, they still did
It was a clusterfuck also.
Oh,
by
I'm
the
sure.
way. It was.
I'm absolutely sure. But like for just us up here, we spotted 7 things just right off the bat. And we brought it to the company safety people. And to my knowledge, it's fixed now.
Well,
now once
if the building catches on fire, and I got
right. No, but like, and then once the health and safety committee is in place, I'll be able to see the same documents that they're seeing.
Yeah.
And I can be able to know for a fact if something got done about it or not versus just taking their word for it.
Right.
And that's huge.
And when they do drills, they're supposed to do it at real time now.
Yeah.
Because they only did it like on a Saturday when nobody was here. He said, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
we got there in time.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this during production.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we need to be able to see if these procedures actually work or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like, what good is a plan if you don't test it?
I say tornadoes don't hit on just Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all, we talked for a long time. We had a good conversation. So before we wrap it up, is there anything that you think we missed that you want to?
I think the opportunity here is that the company has a real opportunity to go to safety first rather than profit first.
Yeah.
And just that change in culture, you'll see it's going to take some time, and we do have the people in place for it. But I think the company is also going to depend on the knowledge of the people on the floor, and they'll open their eyes as well, I believe, just as well as the rest of us. And this is not necessarily the union against the company at all. It's the union for the people, though.
Yes.
And that benefit that we get from that is incredible. Mm-hmm. But I also think it will empower the company at the same time, because maybe they don't see it yet. They may believe that they already have it, but they don't have safety first.
Yeah.
They don't have safety 365.
Yeah.
They don't have all eyes on safety. And I think that'll be a big change. It'll take some time, but there will be buy-in.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I mean, the company watches our back. We're going to make them all kinds of money.
Yes.
All kinds of money.
Yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, forget sides. Forget all this stuff. Politics is politics. Safety is safety. And I don't give a damn who you are. If you're on that shop floor, I want to make sure that you not only are going to be safe, but that you have the confidence that you're going to be safe.
Yeah, I think the key was there when it comes to reporting incidents and near misses is that you don't have a disciplinary action that goes along with that, because that'll keep you from actually reporting things, right?
Yeah.
And you're not reporting because you just mess something up. You're reporting because you see a safety issue.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that was done wrong, but it's something that can be improved upon.
Absolutely.
And that's just very important to have. Companies struggle a little bit with the language there because they wanted to include disciplinary action on that. But once we were able to explain what that was really doing to the safety culture and how that would actually improve, and that the employee is not necessarily in the wrong when they report something, they just see something, it kind of changed them a little bit and opened their eyes much more to where that was something that we could implement.
Yeah, that's that kind of culture, I guess is the word. I mean, they sort of started with the Navy years and years ago. You know, they decided that when a catastrophic event happens at sea, they're not going to point fingers at anybody, because the most important thing is to figure out what went wrong and fix it.
Yes.
So that's what it's, and I think the airline industry eventually adopted that. And I mean, if you look at it now, the safest means of travel is an airplane. It's safer than walking across the street, because they're less inclined to punish somebody for making a mistake and more inclined to understand the root of the mistake and fix it.
This is the real see something, say something that the company always brags about or wants you to do. This is it. See something, say something is safety.
Right.
Yeah. If you do make a mistake on something, you're not just getting disciplined. You know, that there's coaching, there's education, there's there's giving you the benefit of the doubt that you are someone who wants to do your job and you have a sound enough mind to be here and want to do the right thing, and giving you the benefit of the doubt, give you the information that you need, the tools that you need to succeed, as opposed to just punitively disciplining people.
All right, gentlemen, let's quit talking.
All right, sounds good.
Let's all go home. All right, thanks for coming in. Everybody, thanks for listening to Fireside 42. We'll talk to you next time. Okay, and that was our conversation, and there was so much we had to cut for length. Maybe we'll revisit this again. Tony, do you think we should?
Yeah, we should definitely revisit. There's some stuff I know that Caleb has a lot to speak on, as well as Drew. There's just a lot more coming. I feel like this was a good start, like I said at the beginning. So
next episode, we have some options, and I'm kind of curious what our listeners want to hear. So we can do skilled trades, we can do quality, or we can do standards, production standards. Yeah. And we'll leave that up to our listeners. Let us know what you guys think. What do you guys want to listen to next? Tell us in the comments, and that's the episode we'll drop. Also, I've had some requests for this. The bargaining team is kind of interested in this, and I would really like to do this. I want to do a Q&A episode. So if you guys would be so kind as to put your questions in the comments. What do you want to know about the things that you've heard in our episode so far? Questions that haven't been asked yet? Whatever they are. So, yeah, give us your questions. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday with the episode that you picked. All right, this is Fireside 42. We're out.